Hello and welcome. So what I have for you today is a book review. Now, folks, I am 5'4", and take a look at this. Is this a book or what? I mean, when this thing first came out, I was just thrilled to get my hands on it. Now, it's a little difficult to manage. It's big, it's heavy. I mean, you could get in shape lifting this thing up and down. It's called Magic, and it documents in very visual form the magic performing art from the 1400s to the 1950s. And man, that is quite an era, quite a period of time to be documenting. Noel Daniel is the editor. Mike Caveney and Jim Steinmeier are the primary contributors, and Ricky J did the introduction. So folks, it doesn't get any better than that, right? I mean, I hope you know who these people are. Jim Steinmeier is one of the premier inventors of our time. He's an expert in magical history, and so is Mike Caveney. And then Ricky J is legend, okay? So you get their contributions in here. I'll tell you what else you get, and I'm gonna go through this and show you a little bit of it. You get access to images in here that you will not get anywhere else, and you get them in practically poster size. And the quality, the picture quality, I don't know if it's going to come across on film here, on video, but the picture quality is outstanding, folks. And I'll tell you what, this is a real education. So let's open it up. I'm just going to flip through a few pages so you can see what this book is all about. Now, I'm trying to do this upside down, so this might be a little bit awkward, but I want to show you something, because I've talked about suspensions and levitations. I did a presentation on that a while ago. Here is a levitation. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. Here is a levitation from 1903. 1903. I think that's the year. I mean, the caption, here's what they do. They give you these full-page layouts, and then as you flip back through, and I want to talk about this image as well, in a few pages, you have a description of what you were looking at. So here. So all these captions explain what the photograph was that you were looking at. Now let me go back one here. Here, this one. This was around the turn of the century as well. And this young lady is actually flying. Flying. You know what they say. You know what they say. If you want a new trick, look in an old book. Okay? And Solomon said, there is nothing new under the sun. So yeah, stage flying was going on way back at the turn of the last century. Now, I don't know if Johnny Gone was influenced by that or not. I assume that he knew it happened. And I wouldn't make any comparisons between this, you know, what you're seeing here, and David Copperfield's Magnificent Illusion. No comparison at all. But my point is that stage flying has been going on for quite some time, all the way back to the turn of the last century. So anyway, let me just flip through here just a little bit, see if I can give you a sense for the magnificence of this book. Now, if you're like me, you're going to find this book a little bit difficult to manage. I'll tell you something else that I love to do. I love to write in and highlight my books. If this were a normal book for me, I would have highlighted down through here. I would have made notes in the margins. The vast majority of my books are like that. So when I cross over and somebody inherits my magical library, they're going to inherit all of my notes and everything else that's in these books. But in this book, I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. You know, ink, I very often I'll use archival ink. It's hard to use archival highlighters, but I do use archival inks. but nevertheless they have a tendency to run or bleed through or something like that, and it messes up a book pretty good when you do that. I don't mind doing it for most books because the books, for me, books are they're for users, okay, and I like to be able to go back and reference something and find it quickly, and that's why I do the highlights and make the notes in the margins. But this one is just too valuable. It's just too good. I just don't want to do that in here, so I have not done that. But let me tell you something. The walk through history here is just magnificent. So you get these full spreads here. These wonderful magical posters. Look at this. Isn't this magnificent? And you get all the explanation from Mike Caveney and from Jim Steinmeier, all of the history. I mean, I'm telling you, this is, remember we talked about Ajra? This was the Ajra poster, the very first time, by Leroy and Company. Keller's Floating Lady. This is David Devant down here. So, man, this is just spectacular. So anyway, it's easily one of my favorites in my collection. I absolutely treasure this book. Denny Haney sold it to me. So it was, look at that, Thurston's Illusion. It's one of Thurston's right there. One that he developed on his summer break. So this is getting into sawing illusions here. Fantastic stuff. So anyway, I wanted to flip through here and just Adelaide Herman. So you don't run across Adelaide in a lot of histories, and I'm glad that she's included here. And not only included, but you get a huge spread on her as well. So you've got so you're walking through time up to the modern age, up to the 1950s. So really the television era. So they're looking to bring you up to speed from the origins of magic in the modern world to the period of television when people like Mark Wilson and David Copperfield sort of took control, took the mantle. But prior to that, these were theater people. These were people that relied on publicity, relied on pre-show publicity stunts, relied on their posters, their front men to go in and create the kind of demand or the kind of audience that they needed to go from town to town and make a living performing their art. So it's a much different period, much different time. But as I flip through this and you see various pages, you see the poster after poster after poster. A lot of magicians today collect these posters. They are very expensive to collect. The originals you can get replicas at a reasonable price, but the originals, of course, are kind of pricey, but they're gorgeous. Denny had a whole room full of them. In fact, his shop was filled with them, and he was a collector. So I got to see a lot of these up close and personal. But when this book came out, I just could not afford to do magic poster collecting. So when the book came out and it was chock full of these magic posters and photographs, I could not believe it. So I was standing in line waiting for this baby when it came out. Now, let me go back and discuss just for a second. This is arduous to read. It's heavy to pick up. If you're sitting at a nice desk like this, it's doable. But right here, same book, folks. It's called The Magic Book, Noel Daniel, and same thing right here. Same book, much lighter, much more manageable, and much less expensive. Now, if you're a magic person like me, you want this. you definitely want it. You definitely want it in your library. You want to go out and get this. You want to look through it and enjoy the beauty that's in there. But I'm reading this one. This is my reader book. Now I still don't highlight. I'm still not highlighting in here because again I don't want to. It's just when the beauty is this great, you just don't want to tarnish it. So I've not written in here. I've not highlighted, but this was a godsend. I had this a number of years before I discovered that they made a smaller edition. So so I was thrilled to get this and to be able to sit down and go back through it and enjoy it on a whole different level, because this book you can actually carry with you, whereas this one requires a truck, you know. So anyway, folks, it's called The Magic Book. Noel Daniel is the editor. And there are just fantastic essays in here by Mike Haveney, Jim Steinmeier, and of course the introduction by Ricky J. Highly recommend it to you. Folks, if you like what you see, please subscribe. There's a lot more coming. Please comment. I love your comments. I appreciate your subscription. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.